Moe. He's broken. And even worse than that, I feel like a lot of people are still underrating the power of this tiny mouse. So today, not only I'm gonna explain why he's absolutely broken, and I'm also gonna suggest a couple nerfs that he desperately needs, because there is a lot of broken stuff about his kit that you probably didn't even thought about. So, starting off, we have his main attack. His main attack by itself might not be that big of a problem, but once you add that first star power, it is just absolutely chaos. You can just deal sometimes out of nowhere 3600 damage just out of nowhere, and that is very strong. Like, the funny thing is, Chester is supposed to be the RNG kind of character, yet I feel like most damage it is way much more RNG than Chester's one, which is just how crazy it is. Secondly, we have his super. His super, it is simply the most uncounterable thing ever. It is underground, so you're immune to damage. You have knockback when you leave the ground, so enemies cannot immediately be prepared for you. And on top of all of that, sometimes I still didn't figure out exactly how do you manage to do that, but you can actually stop the super before reaching the end, which just makes it even stronger and even harder to counter. Like, I will easily say that that super has 0 counters, which is also so annoying. And lastly, which is not the worst thing in the world, but it's still very strong, which is his first gadget. His first gadget, again, doesn't have counters. I mean, Bo's first gadget, at least you can just destroy the totem and everything is fine, but Moe, you don't even have that chance. You either just dodge the shots, which it is very hard, or you just get lucky and I don't know, he completely wastes it, but most good players know how to use that gadget. So this is just for you to understand how strong he is. And please, for Christ's sake, never face a Moe on a diagonal. That is just you asking to die, literally, because 3000 damage, actually 3600 damage in just one ammo, it is absolutely broken. Okay, now that I explained why he's absolutely broken and he desperately needs nerfs, now it's actually time to tell what nerfs do I think he deserves. And starting off with the most obvious, he needs a damage nerf, and a very severe one. His damage would be reduced from 1200 to 1020. To be precise, a 15% damage nerf. And fun fact, which I feel like they have done it on purpose but doesn't matter, actually Moe's basic attack damage got buffed before he released, and I think originally it was like, what, 1000? I am not sure if it was 1000 or 1100, but regardless, buffing that damage was probably one of the worst decisions ever. The second thing that I also need to talk about before saying the rest is that his first star power will now be a passive. Supercell, this time they went all in. I thought that they had learned their mistakes from Chester and Otis, where you cannot just give bonus projectiles to a character. Like, that just simply never works. And now, instead of being 33%, like how it was with Otis and Chester, now it's 50%. How? Like, it doesn't make any sense. How did they thought this was possibly a good idea? History already told us that it was stupid. Apparently they don't like history. Why? I don't know. But regardless, that is something that just needs to happen. Otherwise, this star power is just one of the main problems, and it just needs to be a passive for Moe to be a good brawler. Now that we talked about these two very important changes, we need to talk about the rest overall, which is the reload time will be increased from 1.5 seconds to 1.8 seconds. He gets that triple projectile thing way too often. And also, the amount of hits to get the super will be increased from 7 to 8. It is so easy to get the super, like, you get so many throughout the match. And on top of that, the spikes that each projectile splits into 4, their width will be severely decreased from 0.66 to 0.33. Now, what this last one actually means is that it will be twice as hard to land those stone spikes. And fun fact, spikes They are 0.33 tiles of width, so I have absolutely no idea why did they decided to make Moe's even larger. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. Now let's talk about Moe's super. Start off, the knockback is removed, and this will make sense in a little bit, but the knockback is just such an annoying detail that just simply doesn't allow any sort of counterplay. I understand that his super objective it is to counter throwers, like at least I think that's what Supercell had in mind, but you don't need the knockback to do that. Knockback just makes so that if you rush into tanks or assassins that they literally have 0% chances at defeat. No, at winning. On top of that, the ammo that you gain by using the super will be reduced from 100% to 50%. One of the very strong things about his super is that it just allows you to have so much pressure, because as soon as you use that super, even if you were at 0% ammo, you can just rush into everyone with full ammo, being able to deal around 5,000 damage in 1 second, which is absolutely broken. And let's cut that in half, which, please. You know what else makes me say please? You clicking on that subscribe button. Yeah, I'm getting kind of ideas for this segment. Absolutely irrelevant. I am pumping out so much content and I have so many plans for this channel that, guess what? I created a Discord server for you to being able to interact with the rest of our amazing community. How great is that? Go to the description, there is the link of the Discord server right now. You can join, talk with the rest of us. It will be tons of fun, and sometimes I go there and who knows, you might be able to record 1 or 2 videos with me in the future if you're there. Just saying! Hope you enjoyed the rest of the video. At the same time, the super will now be 10% slower, which means that instead of having 2500 speed, it will now be 2250 speed. This is again to just give a little bit more timing for you to be able to understand where the super will land and everything, because his super is also very fast, and this is also to give more utility to the second star power, because literally no one uses that. Also because the first star power is one of the most broken things in the universe, but that's unrelated. On top of that, the damage while traveling underground will be reduced from 1600 to 800. This means the damage that while you are underground, not when you just get out of it. It will still be the 1600 when you leave the ground, but will now be 800 while you're traveling. Now that we talk about Moe's basic form, now we need to talk about the drill, because the drill, it is very strong. And let's start with a couple of the main issues. The movement speed of the drill, it is the single most fast thing in Brawl Stars, just by existing. It is even faster than a Clancy level 3, which is already faster than the fastest movement speed in the game, which is just crazy. And at the same time, while you're using your main attack, you get the movement speed increase, which it is not even written on Brawl Stars fandom. I just discovered this from a tiny stat in a random place, and you can see it in game if you try it, which is just absolutely crazy. So all of these needs to be nerfed, like for sure. To start off, the movement speed of the drill will be reduced from very fast to very fast. Explaining, now you will pretty much have the same movement speed as a level 3 Clancy. This is just to make sure that speed get a bit more constant, because we cannot just have faster and faster brawlers over time. That is just madness. On top of that, because it makes a bit of sense that actually while you're drilling you get a faster movement speed, it actually makes sense because of how the design of the brawler actually is. So I can understand that, but it cannot be an extra 200 movement speed. While you're using your main attack, you have 1100 movement speed, which is faster than Leon with his first star power while invisible, which is like one of the fastest things in the game. Unless we're talking about hyperchargers, that is a different thing. So now the bonus movement speed will be reduced from an additional 200 to an additional 106, almost a 50% nerf. On top of that, this means that while you're drilling, your movement speed in total got reduced from 1100 to 670, which is still a lot, but it is just not stupidly broken as it used to be. The second thing about the drill that it is absolutely broken is that you can actually leave the drill whenever you freaking want. If Bonnie had this ability, I can assure you that Bonnie would be at least an A-tier brawler, because you can just leave your low range form and immediately swap to the long range one. And guess what? If you use the super, you get nearly full ammo back. That is so stupid. Like, this is just Bonnie's super mixed with Bull's super and zero flaws. That is just how broken it is. And because of that, now I will completely change how you get the super while you are in the drill form. Start off, you don't get any super after leaving the ground. That is the first thing. And now we actually need to give you a way to get the super, because there isn't one, which is very weird, honestly. So to start off, for each single attack you get 5% of the super. So in 20 ammo you get your entire super back, which it is honestly very easy on. Now that I think about it, it is a very easily cyclable super. So if you successfully land your super and kill someone, you're most likely to have the super back. Secondly, if you hit an enemy with your leaving off the ground thing, you get 15% of the super, and 7.5% if you're traveling underground and give that 800 damage to someone. On top of that, now your super while you are in the drill form charges over time over 30 seconds, kinda like Darrow's super. Lastly, the super duration will be increased from 5 seconds to 8 seconds. This can be seen as a buff and a nerf. Because you're so fast on the drill form, it can be a buff in some scenarios, but overall, and at least my idea, it is that it is some kind of a nerf, because now if you don't manage to get your super, you will be stuck on that form for 8 seconds, which because of how little range it has, it can be a very good disadvantage. Lastly, we need to talk about leaving the drill, because using the super to leave the drill, it is incredibly strong, because you get all of your ammo back. I tested it, and that is actually not true. Apparently your ammo gets tripled or something, because if you have 1 ammo you then go to full ammo, but if you have like 0% ammo you still come back with 0% ammo. So let's change whatever the hell is happening there to you just gaining back 50% of your ammo. It feels completely fair. Like, Meg does not get full ammo. That was a thing that she used to have, they nerfed it and then they put it to 1 ammo, and it has been good ever since. I don't know why they are trying to break that golden rule, but it is not working. And lastly, we need to talk about gadgets and star powers. His first gadget needs to be reworked. That's simple. That first gadget, it is absolutely broken. It is just simply nonsense. So now, I thought since we nerfed the drill's movement speed, maybe to kinda help him in that aggressive playstyle, or just being able to walk around a lot faster, your first gadget would be completely reworked into you get a 20% movement speed for 5 seconds. You already get the arrows pointing up, which is kinda weird, but okay, sure. And now it will just make more sense. It will be kinda Jackie's gadget, but a little bit different. Okay, just a tiny bit different. But still, I think it will be a very good gadget, especially for the second form. But to have a little bit of competition, the second gadget now not only breaks walls, as it also shatters them, kinda like Stu's second gadget in a certain way, dealing 216 damage for each piece of wall. As for the star powers, the first star power, as I already mentioned, it will now be a passive. And secondly, his first new star power with that your super now has knockback. If you're facing tanks or assassins, you might actually want to try to use the knockback so that they can't immediately counter you. I think that this could be very good, especially in ranked, because of you being able to tell what the enemy team is and you can just swap the star power. I feel like that would be very solid. And the second star power would be replaced, actually not replaced, but being alive, because I have done a lot of research and I literally cannot find a single thing where it mentions that the second star power actually makes the super faster. Like, there isn't any information saying it. So actually, now that I think about it, Moe has probably the best star power in the game and the single worst one. Like, how crazy is that now that I think about it? Pretty wild. So now the second star would actually be helpful. Yay. Now the movement speed of the super, or the super speed, whatever you want to call him, it will be increased by 40%. From the new 2250 to 2950. It is a very big increase, and it would just make the super very hard to just dodge it, which would help him out a lot more in like more long range scenarios. Just saying, like, Moe can be used literally anywhere, but now we would have to choose a little bit before that. Just going all in with the first star power, obviously the first gadget. Now we'd also have to choose the star powers according to the situation, which it is always the best way to go, honestly. And there you have it, all of the nerfs and a couple of buffs that I feel like Moe desperately needs, because he is broken. I wish that someone had warned us about this brawler being the most broken thing ever. Oh well, I was right. Hehe. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see ya on the next video.